A Up Sofa Squad. A Up Sofa Squad. We are live, back for another edition of
Did you
On the Sofa
did you
with
just
my
try to be cool? Did you just try to be cool the way you said that?
What?
It's so...
And
Anyway,
with me, as always, is my co-host, Siamese.
hello, party people.
Well, it's just us at the moment. There's zero
Well, that's
people
all right.
watching. But hey ho, we'll have to soldier on without people, and but I'm sure they'll be watching. After the fact.
We've soldiered on without people the last couple of weeks. We can do it again.
Yes,
I
correct.
believe in us.
Yes.
Oh.
So I think we'll just crack on with the first story.
Yes, where are we starting today?
We're going to start off with what the intro was alluding to. Comedian Lee Hurst suspended from Twitter over Greta Thunberg tweet.
Oh, I didn't know about this. How dare he? How dare you insult Greta Thunberg? This I need to know. Okay.
Okay, so let me share the article and we'll talk about it.
Yes.
So, comedian Lee Hurst doesn't regret vile Greta Thunberg tweet that saw him suspended from Twitter. Comedian Lee Hurst has said he doesn't regret posting a vile joke about Greta Thunberg online that later saw him suspended from Twitter. The stand-up star, 57, who is known for being a panelist on They Think It's All Over, took aim at the 18-year-old environmental activist in a gag he tweeted over the weekend, and it didn't go down well with fans. Hurst had tweeted, "As soon as Greta discovers cock, she'll stop complaining about the single-use plastic it's wrapped in."
That's fucking disgusting. You know, that is a child compared to him. That man is old enough to be her grandparent.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm a fan of dirty jokes here and there. I mean, I'm dating one, but
shut the fuck up.
But
Ooh,
that is so disrespectful. Who do you think you are?
The reason you ain't dead. Anyway, this man is almost 60 years old, and he's saying that about an 18-year-old. That's like creepy uncle at the family reunion vibes. Ew.
Yeah.
Just ew. I'm actually kind of nauseated. You know, I have cheesesteaks out the way from Uber Eats, and I almost don't want to eat mine.
All right. Yeah. But a lot of people complained, and he's been suspended from Twitter for it.
Well, good. Honestly, you know, and that's the thing. Supporters of him are going to talk about cancel culture. It's like, okay, you have the teenage daughters. What if somebody said that about them? Then it wouldn't be a problem to cancel them then.
Well, you know, this is the thing. I mean, people say, it's a freedom of speech issue.
Well, freedom of speech does not equal freedom from consequences, and that's what a lot of people fail to comprehend.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech only guarantees you cannot be arrested for what you say, as long as you're not like yelling fire in a movie theater or bomb in an airport. It doesn't mean that a private organization like Twitter can't kick you the fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
I
will. Good to have you. Good to have you in the side chat.
Always a pleasure.
You're welcome to join us in the stream if you're available.
Yes, please do. I always enjoy hanging out in streams with Will.
Yeah, it's a good.
Sometimes I spend my
Yeah,
shift doing that at work.
he's a good bloke as Will.
Yes, he is. No matter what Stool says. Anyway, so yeah, this old man talking about, oh my god, that is just giving me the heebie-jeebies. I can feel them in my spine.
Yeah, and I think it's going to lead to many other people getting suspended from Twitter. I think it sets a precedent, doesn't it, that you can't get away with this shit.
Well, that's why I like what people have said on social media. Stop calling it cancel culture and start referring to it as consequence culture.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's a much more accurate term, if you ask me. Because you know what? People need to learn that being dicks, whether online or in real life, can and does have consequences.
Yeah, exactly. And talking of cancel culture and freedom of speech, etc., etc., well-known champion of freedom of speech, actor Lawrence Fox has put in a bid to become London mayor.
I'm going to say what I said to you privately. Will you Brits learn from our example? Thou shalt not put celebrities in public office. Look how that ended for us. We now have almost over 500,000 people dead because he was an idiot. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
what a punchable face.
I'm glad you said it, not me. But
of course, Josh has to weigh in because Josh just likes to punch things anyway.
Yeah, but this guy, are you familiar with Lawrence Fox as an actor?
I actually think I may have been looking into him when this first broke, because we were going to discuss this the last show, not last week, but the week before. I hope you had a good birthday, by the way. And
yes.
Good. And I mean, my God, he is like, it really gave me vibes. The things he stands for. I did get vibes of when Trump was campaigning in 2016.
Yeah.
How is Twitter's policy about hate speech confusing? Well, I'm looking. I would love some clarification on that. But no, it's.
Dude, where's the fucking lighter?
It's up your ass and around the corner. I didn't touch it. Anyway.
Anyway. Lawrence Fox, he was in a detective show here in the UK called Lewis. He was
detective shows. I'll have to give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Is it on Hulu?
I don't know, to be honest. It might be, but look at it. It's quite good. But he was Chief Inspector Lewis's partner, basically.
Okay.
And that's the main. I think he's been in other programs as well, but that's the main one that he's famous for.
So it looks like this guy is in a totally different party. So this is actually even worse than Trump. This is like Libertarian and Green Party vibes, like over here. So
yeah,
his third party to throw your votes away on, which I don't see that ending well.
He started his very own political party called the Reclaim Party, and it says here, if elected, he would lift lockdown the day after the elections are held on the 6th of May.
Okay, I'm remembering why I thought he was an idiot now. It's all coming back to me. So he's just anti-lockdown.
He is dumb dickhead.
Basically, yes. That sounds about right.
But I'm not sure. Someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or whatever. But I'm not sure if the mayor of London has the authority to do that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, mayors seem like an awfully local, it's just too local of public office. I don't see mayors having that kind of authority. I would think that would fall to more that would be more of like a prime minister or parliament kind of thing. I don't see a mayor having that kind of,
Yeah. Hi to Robert X, by the way. Yeah, thanks for joining us. But I don't know, maybe at a local level, he may have the authority to. But in any case, by the time the mayoral elections are over on the 6th of May, lockdown restrictions will be lifted. They're being,
as long as people don't continue to be stupid about COVID, yeah.
Well, this is a separate issue, but the way at the moment, shops are, most of the shops are going to be reopened from the 12th of April here in the UK.
Now, are you enforcing mask mandates?
That is a good question. I'm not,
because have the one of the big problems with the US is restrictions vary so wildly from state to state, and enforcement within those states can vary from county to county and even locality to locality. Like, I live in Philadelphia County, which has most of its shit together, except I really don't like that Pennsylvania makes you renew your Medicaid every 6 months. But then I work in Bucks County, and Bucks County's district attorney has ordered all of the police forces within the county not to enforce mask policies. So that's just one of many things I'll call the cops about if I'm trying to get rid of somebody who won't leave, and then suddenly, they won't come. I mean, granted, they also did nothing when someone tried to kill me at work, so I had no faith in them anyway. But so I'm curious if the UK is starting to eventually reopen, will they enforce any sort of mask policy? Will they enforce any sort of mandates on that matter?
I think at the moment masks are not compulsory. But
you know what? And that's why y'all are having spikes then. You know what? That explains it. I mean, we're having them too here in the US, but the trend appears to be that, the fewer the restrictions, the higher the number of cases.
Oh, right. Yeah, that does seem to be the trend here as well.
Yeah, and, I mean, you guys have a bunch of cases where there aren't as many restrictions, and we have a bunch of cases like Texas just had 1 second. So anyway, like Texas, and this is something I already added for us to discuss, Texas lifted pretty much all of the restrictions on Algon, almost here. On Algon, almost here. Anyway, so as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Texas has lifted everything, and since they've lifted everything, inevitably there has been a spike in cases, astronomically.
Well, I am shocked.
Oh, the sarcasm dripping from you. I love it. I'm starting to rub off on you. This is a good thing. And of course, God forbid, fucking asshole Abbott take any accountability for that. Who's he blaming? Immigrants. In typical Republican fashion.
Well, we're going to talk about that later.
Yes.
But just to put Lawrence Fox's going for London Mayor into context, I want to, if I can share the link, I want to share with you, how, the other candidates that he's going up against.
Yeah, this I gotta see.
Yes. These are the candidates that he's going to be standing up against. Sean Bailey, Conservatives. Cam, forgive me if I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Cam Belayev, Renew. Sian Berry from the Green Party. I really like her, actually. I really hope she wins, although I doubt she will win.
Is your Green Party as crazy as our Green Party?
No, they're actually quite sensible, thankfully. And they're quite socialist.
Time to take some lessons.
They're quite socialist in their, in their policies as well. And then there's Count Binface, standing as an independent candidate.
You know what? I saw that. I think I was reading up on that in preparation because I didn't realize there wouldn't be a show last week. And I was looking at that. This is ridiculous. I mean, you know what this guy reminds me of? We have a similar weirdo, Vermin Supreme. I think he actually changed his legal name to Vermin Supreme.
Okay.
He's also always wearing a large boot on his head.
But he is a self-proclaimed interplanetary space warrior who has challenged both Boris Johnson and Theresa May in general elections. So he's standing as he's standing for London Mayor as well. Then
he's been going against. Let me see what else did he. So he went against in Parliament. Yeah, this guy is your version of Vermin Supreme.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'm telling you, Google him when you have a minute. You're gonna see what I mean.
Yes, I think I will do. Yeah. And moving on, Valerie Brown, Burning Pink. Burning Pink's candidate describes herself as a mother, grandmother, and vigilante.
Well, she certainly doesn't have the looks of being a grandmother. She's aging quite well if she's a grandmother.
Isn't she? Yeah, I agree with you.
And yeah, I have to say at least one nice thing. It's obligatory. I have to say one nice thing per show.
I may get in trouble for saying this, but there is a saying: "Black don't crack."
Well, no, that's true. Thing. That is true. It has been, and that's just a genetic advantage of being African American or African British, however you guys say it over there. I don't know, but there are definitely advantages to not being white. Us white people, we age like us white people, man. We age terribly.
Yeah,
that's not what they mean by black don't crack. What it means.
But Oprah Winfrey said that once, and she got in trouble for saying it. She had to apologize.
Serious? For saying that?
Yeah, apparently she's in trouble.
Wow. And she's black. That's so fucked up that she got in trouble for saying something about black people, a positive thing.
Yeah,
that's so fucked up.
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure that's meant to be a compliment. I believe that's meant to be something nice, but it is what it is. Anyway, so who else do we have here?
Let's have a look. I forgot he was standing.
God, did Dr. Fauci fuck
Einstein? Piers Corbyn, he's standing as an independent. He is another COVIDiot. he doesn't believe that COVID is as serious as as the scientists say that it is.
Oh,
He's an
God.
anti-masker, anti-lockdown, and coincidentally,
Right.
he's the old he's the older brother of former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, he's anti.
Which
Well,
I think
that must be interesting at the dinner table.
yes, and he's actually been arrested once or twice, I think, for leading anti-lockdown protests in London.
Oh, beautiful. Not sure how I feel about that. I'm totally for the freedom to assemble. I am not for protesting for stupidity.
Yeah, well,
Stupid does not deserve a soapbox.
Exactly. So we've got at least two COVIDiots standing for London mayor. So that's going to be interesting. Who else is there?
I think you've made Josh's day. He's never heard the term COVIDiot before, and now he's decided to watch it. Drill minister? Oh my God! What the? Oh, of course he's a rapper. Of course he's a rapper. What did I think with a name like that?
Oh,
at least he's wearing a mask.
Yeah. Yes, he's a London-born drill rapper who is running as an independent candidate. And then, well, we've already talked about Lawrence Fox.
Yeah.
Peter Gammons from UKIP.
Oh my God, he kind of looks like a white Ted Cruz.
He does now you mention it. But are you sorry? But are you familiar with UKIP?
I am not. I still not been fully immersed in. I have not been fully immersed yet. I mean, I'm definitely getting there, co-hosting this show, but
UKIP is they're the United Kingdom Independence Party.
Okay.
And they're kind of defunct now that Brexit has actually happened, because that was their whole platform.
There's no point, is there?
Yeah, that was their whole platform all along. That they wanted the UK to be independent from the EU. They wanted Brexit basically, but now that's happened.
So were they the ones that started the whole movement, or did they just kind of jump on a bandwagon and turn it into a political party?
No, they were very instrumental in starting that that whole movement. Yeah, the whole Brexit movement.
Okay, so it was kind of sparked by them.
Yeah, they were very instrumental in moving that discussion along. They've been going for years, but I don't. It tickles me that his name is Gammons. I don't know if you're familiar with the term gammon.
I'm familiar with the game backgammon. I've never played it in my life and have no idea how, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah, well, gammon is a derogatory term that us Brits use usually for right-wing MPs who get so angry and so worked up that their faces turn red, and so we call them gammons.
Like this word.
So I just find it hilarious that his name is actually Peter Gammons.
Well, I wonder if he turns red when he's angry.
Possibly. Then there's there's the current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. He's the Labour candidate, and he's already been serving as London mayor. He's London mayor at the moment, so he's going to be running for re-election.
Now, do you guys have term limits?
I don't know. I don't think we do actually. theoretically, if you're re-elected, you can, stay in office indefinitely.
Well, that's good
I
to
think,
know. I
yeah, I
suppose.
mean,
I'm personally pro term limits for everyone, but that's just me.
And then we have David Curtin from the Heritage Party. He's a former teacher who sits with the Brexit Alliance group on the London Assembly. Farah London, Independent.
Oh my God! Who drew her eyebrows?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna sit here and roast everyone.
yeah.
That's my function on this show.
She needs a tutorial from James Charles, I think.
No, James Charles is there's somebody else that can. I'm sure
Is
there's
he?
a artist. Apparently, it was revealed that he's like hitting on minors and shit. I didn't look into it fully, but
Oh, scratch that then. But anyway, the Croydon-born businesswoman has worked in the commercial sector for 22 years. Winston McKenzie, Unity in action. He's a celebrity Big Brother contestant and founder of the Unity in Action Party.
Y'all really did not learn from our example. What is with all these celebrities?
I know, right? It's crazy.
It's like, okay, if Donald Trump can somehow end up elected president, I guess any celebrity can. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
at least immerse yourself in political knowledge. I mean, isn't Big Brother kind of like one of the trashiest of trashy shows?
It's one of them, yeah, definitely.
And that should be like an automatic DQ there, man.
Yeah. And then there's Nims Ombunge. He's standing as an independent. He's a pastor who is chief executive of the Peace Alliance, which was set up to tackle knife crime.
I don't know how I feel about the idea of a pastor running for public office, but I mean, that may be the American value of church and state should be separate in me. Well, I'm sorry, no, it's not even so much American, it's more democratic these days because, Republicans like to bring the Bible into anything anyway.
Yes. Then there's Louisa Porritt from the Liberal Democrats. And then there's Rosalind Redhead, Independent.
Okay, her name is Redhead, but she's blonde. That bothers me. That bothers me. Her name's gonna be Redhead. At least pretend you're a ginger, dye your hair or something. That reminds me, I need to dye mine.
No.
Yeah. Then there's Mandu Reid from Women's Equality Party. Brian Rose, Independent.
You know who he looks like? You know who that guy looks like? Actually, now that I look at him, oh my God. You wouldn't be familiar with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's a U.S. police sitcom. But if you look up Brooklyn Nine-Nine, look up the Vulture. He reminds me of the Vulture.
Oh, right. Excuse me, hang on.
So, and of course he's a banker because politics aren't politics without banks now. That's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just had to blow my nose real quick. Oh.
Yeah, so, everybody in the chat, look up the Vulture from Brooklyn Nine-Nine if you don't watch it. That's what this motherfucker looks like. I'll give him this though. I mean, I don't know many people that can actually pull off pinstripes.
Yeah. So there you have it. Those are all the candidates for London Mayor.
Well,
there's so many of them.
Yeah, really. I mean, don't you guys have something like primaries like we do to kind of inherit, so to speak?
Well, no, not really. No, well, not for London Mayor anyway. And
that's just so messy.
Yeah, Those were those.
I understand having more than two choices. I would love to see that in our society one day. Although I think our voting public is too conditioned to picking red or blue. But there is such a thing as too much. Because you can end up with information overload if you're trying to look into each individual candidate to decide, all right, who's the best candidate that aligns with my values. That's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And so those are all the candidates that Lawrence Fox is up against, just to give you some context. And Will was saying your mayor choices are scary at best.
I think Will is right.
Yeah. You're not wrong, Will. And anyway, moving on. I've got a new. We're going to start a new segment on this show called Tory Twats. So let me just play the intro. So first of all, let me just bring up the story here, because we've got quite a few here actually. I want to talk about the Boris Borough.
The Boris Borough.
Yeah, Boris Borough is a fantasy.
That man could never wear a hard hat. That looks terrible.
Apparently, Boris Johnson wants to build a tunnel crossing the 30 kilometres of sea separating Northern Ireland and Scotland, a project that's been dubbed the Boris Borough. And Northern Ireland's infrastructure minister has blasted plans to build a tunnel linking the region and Scotland, describing it as just a fantasy that's never going to be built. And
when I saw Boris Borough at first, I thought maybe it was just a ridiculous name for a bunker. I'm not sure if this is better or worse.
But this is basically a vanity project on behalf of Boris Johnson. But
kind of like the wall was a vanity project with Trump.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly it. But it's hit all kinds of problems, because the route that he came up with at first, he couldn't use that route because apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently during the Second World War, lots of bombs were dumped in that part of the sea between Scotland and Northern Ireland.
So the Boris Borough gonna be a boom boom borough then?
Yes. So he's gonna have to, come up with a different route, and so the article goes on. This tunnel is just a fantasy. It's never going to be built. We've seen Boris Johnson's track record. What does happen is significant sums of public money is tunneled towards consultants to this outlandish piece of work. She said a conservative estimate for the cost of the tunnel would be around £33 billion.
Pretty sure there are better things to do with £33 billion. Do you know what I could do with £33 billion? Probably a lot. I'm not sure what the hell the conversion rate is for US dollars, but I know I wouldn't have as many problems as I do now. Yeah. And neither would the rest of the world around me, because I'm not an asshole and would give back.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
No, I take that back. I am an asshole, but not that level.
And it's a complete fiasco. I'm trying to find the root for it.
You always manage to understate these things. It seems fiasco is not the word. It sounds like more of a complete and utter catastrophe that is destined to fail if attempted, which hopefully it won't be. When the hell is he due to leave office?
Well, when is it? Well, that's a good question. Not for theoretically at least, not for another 4 years.
God damn it.
But he could be
Queen
ousted
Elizabeth,
by.
if you're watching this, get him out of here. Don't you have the authority to do that?
But he could be ousted by his backbenchers before then. If they don't like how Brexit is going, for example, they could get rid of him. But I'm trying to find a map showing the route of this tunnel.
The way things seem to be in your political climate, I see any effort to oust Johnson as being as effective as impeaching Trump was. Sadly.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, man, so many parallels. It's a shame.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can. I'll stop sharing this one, and I'll share the map. Real quick.
Oh, there's a map of where it's supposed to be going?
Yeah.
Oh, this I gotta see.
So yeah, this is the map of the possible routes that have been. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the first one was between Port Patrick in Scotland to Larne, in Northern Ireland.
In that tiny text, from my point of view, because I'm using my phone, it looked like it said lame, and I was going to say that sounds like an accurate description of this idea.
But
granted, I'm just blind.
But here, round about here, is where the bombs are. So that's not going to work. Another one.
Yeah, like I said, it would turn into the boom boom borough real quick.
Yes. There's another proposed tunnel from Mull of Kintyre to Tor Head. That's 20 kilometers. And I want to see if another proposed idea is having the Isle of Man as a kind of roundabout. So you've got a tunnel going from Heysham to the Isle of Man. This port here to the Isle of Man, and then from the Isle of Man to there, and then from the Isle of Man to Northern Ireland as well. That's another proposal.
So the whole island is just going to turn into a giant traffic circle?
Yeah.
That's what we call them where I come from. Actually, a lot of most other states call them roundabouts, but
yeah, we call them
roundabouts. In New Jersey, where I was born, we call them traffic circles. Or fuck this shit. Fuck this shit is a more common name for it where I come from. There's one part of central New Jersey, Freehold, New Jersey. There's a traffic circle right by the local mall, and most people who see that look at it, and the first thing out of their mouth is "fuck that shit." But as a licensed New Jersey driver, if you can navigate that traffic circle, you can do anything. At least in Jersey. Driving in Philadelphia is a whole other animal. Nobody knows how to drive in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm sure there's areas of the UK where people say, "Oh my God, these motherfuckers can't drive."
but this just illustrates just how messed up this proposal is. It's a mess. It's a mess, and it's a vanity project, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, when Boris Johnson was mayor of London, he wanted to build a bridge, and that never happened. So if he thinks that a 20-kilometre or 30-kilometre tunnel from Scotland to Northern Ireland is going to happen, he's got another thing coming.
Well, I mean, it would be funny to see him try, and I mean, if not for the fact that there would be innocent casualties, it's like, okay, you know what, Boris, if you want to build the tunnel, do it yourself. Oh, you want to do it right where the bombs are? I hope you hit one. Boom! There goes some of the problems over there.
Yeah. Anyway, the next story I want to talk about is I keep clicking the wrong thing. Hang on.
As long as you're not pulling up Pornhub. The day you accidentally share porn to this show, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What are you talking about? I don't co-host that one. Nope. No. What do you mean? My Twitter bio is a lie. Unirock must have hacked it.
Oh, here we go. Boris Johnson government in scandalous breach of ministerial code.
Oh, this is the thing that I thought was so. Ooh, this is the thing. Yes, this was the thing that caught my attention. Yeah,
we need to talk about this because this should be all over the mainstream media. But it isn't. It's not being reported at all. It's only independent media that have gotten hold of this story.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because he got his fiancée. There she is. What
nasty thing do I have to say about her? She could use a hairstylist. There. I said my mean thing for that one. Okay.
But to
have a quota.
He put her in charge of refurnishing the flat in number 10 Downing Street.
Isn't that like public property? Isn't 10 Downing Street considered public property, kind of like the White House is?
Kind of. There are offices within number 10 Downing Street, but there's also the private residence, residential areas as well.
Yeah, so similar to the White House.
Yeah.
So, and he put his fiance. Okay, yeah. You know what that sounds like? We have a word for that. That's called nepotism.
Yes, exactly. Boris Johnson's government is breaking its own transparency rules by allowing large payments to the Prime Minister and other ministers to be kept secret for up to 8 months, Open Democracy has found. The ethics hush-up, which is in breach of the ministerial code, has been described as scandalous by a former chair of the Committee on Standards in Public Life. It has, among other things, enabled continuing secrecy over the source of an alleged £60,000 private donation to help fund the lavish refurbishment of Boris Johnson's private apartments, a controversy which is now being probed by the Electoral Commission.
So, Jesus fucking Christ. If that was done here, Congress would be meeting to impeach immediately.
Yeah.
Although this does sound similar to, the dark money, that does sound similar to Citizens United.
Yeah. Hang on. The article goes on. The ministerial code promises that a statement covering a relevant minister's interests will be published twice yearly. None has been published since last July. The last one before that appeared in December 2019. At a time when Boris Johnson's government is under fire for COVID contracts and cronyism scandals, Alistair Graham, a former chair of the Committee on standards in public life, branded the failure to publish ministers' interests a pretty scandalous, dreadful. The news comes just days after senior Tory calls for Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, to resign over separate allegations that she broke the Scottish government's ministerial code. So, if they're calling for her to resign, then Boris Johnson should resign over this.
I think we all know the reasoning behind the double standard there.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it. I'll let everybody else know what I'm saying. For once, I'm not going to say what everybody else already knows.
Yes.
It's because she has a vagina.
Well, yes, exactly. Who funded the
Sexism in
refurbishment?
politics, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it says here, Open Democracy began investigating ministerial non-disclosure when trying to find out who funded the refurbishment of the private Downing Street apartments where Boris Johnson and his partner Carrie Symonds live. The Daily Mail has reported that Downing Street allegedly sought to plug the gap in the six-figure refurbishment of the prime ministerial flat using the Conservative Party funds. After the party initially paid for part of the refurb, the Mail reports Conservative Party donor Lord Brownlow gave it £60,000 last autumn to make up the difference. So this refurbishment has already cost a six-figure amount.
I'm seeing here that it looks like efforts are being made to maintain the anonymity of the donor by returning it and then repeating it through a new Downing Street trust that would conceal the original source. That's called a shell company.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is scandalous.
Well,
And
honestly, that kind of shit wouldn't even fly around here.
no.
I would like to think even Republicans would see a problem with that. And they don't see a problem with much of anything. Except, basic human decency.
Ooh. I just
Did I say that? Of course I did.
I just got rid of a tab that I didn't mean to get rid of. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can find it again. But yeah, it's
You
terrible.
don't have an option to view recently closed tabs?
No, I don't think I do. Anyway.
What the hell browser are you using that it doesn't give you that option?
It probably does. I just don't know how to use it.
Well, it's a shame I'm an ocean away. Otherwise, I'd have, okay, do this, and this.
But this is the next story I want to talk about, actually. Because this is quite a serious story.
We really are getting into the seriousness today.
Yeah, this is meaty stuff.
That's what she said.
This is an article by The Canary, 14 Signs the UK is becoming a modern fascist state. There he is. There's our Prime Minister. This is a really interesting article. I won't read the whole thing. But it says, fascist Britain has been trending on Twitter.
That's not how you spell fascist! There's another S in there! Okay, sorry. I'm a grammar Nazi. Anyway.
But can we quantify whether the UK is descending into a modern fascist state? Simply put, yes, we can. Fascism's defining characteristics, nationalism, and disregard for human rights. Shay Scott Heron Newton tweeted how she believed fascism was presenting in modern Britain. She noted 4 areas. 1 was powerful and continuing nationalism. In
Like
this
Brexit.
instant, sorry?
Like Brexit.
Yeah. In this instance, she gave the example of police protecting a Winston Churchill statue. And this is her tweet here. Yeah, you can see, the police protecting the Winston Churchill statue. And that seems to be whenever a continuing trend at the moment. Whenever there's a protest in London, they seem to care more about the statue than they do about actual people.
That's just pathetic. That's idol worship. That's bordering on idol worship.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they don't want Winston Churchill to get vandalized.
Killjoys.
Heron's second example was disregard for human rights. People are more likely to approve of longer incarcerations of prisoners. Look the other way. She gave the example of the current furore of the so-called police bill, but the degradation of UK human rights has been ongoing for a long time. Back in 2016, the UN accused successive Tory-led governments of grave and systematic violations of sick and disabled people's human rights. With the UK's potential withdrawal from the European Convention on Human Rights, things will only get worse.
Mm-hmm. I did see an article in our Google Doc, something about disabled people getting the shaft on something or other. It is disgusting how your country treats the disabled.
Yeah.
Then again, we're not much better.
Yeah, and I can't remember who said this, but he said that if you want to, if you want to, see, how well a country is doing, look at how they treat the most vulnerable people in society.
Yes, absolutely. We treat our disabled like garbage here. We put them in institutions where a lot of times they're abused. Nobody can survive on disability benefits either in the UK or the US from what I've seen. It's like half the time people can't even pay their rent on just a disability check alone.
Yeah.
It really is sad. I mean, it's like there is a dehumanization aspect there, It's that ridiculous pull yourself up by the bootstraps mindset that I see running rampant. Some people truly can't just get a job. And just because of that, they deserve a lower or non-existent standard of living? No.
Exactly. And I put
I
a link
have a
to...
job. I have a job, and it's becoming quite dangerous. What if somebody stabs me in the spine and I end up wheelchair bound? Does that mean I automatically lose my right to a nice life?
Yeah, well, this is it.
I'm very passionate on this subject, if you couldn't tell. I was my mother is actually my mother is very big into disability rights advocacy and the neurodiversity movement. Do not donate to Autism Speaks. Had to plug that. Fuck you for blocking me on Twitter over that, William Shatner. Anyway,
yeah.
You laugh, but it's true. He blocked me over this debate. But I'm blocked by a celebrity. I feel so honored. But no, it's just sad. I mean, fascism is just evolving everywhere that's supposed to be developed from what I've seen. I mean, Germany has it together. Why can't we learn from them?
Yeah.
College is not something that's going to put you in debt until the day you die and possibly past that. They encourage education. For God's sake, they made Holocaust denialism a crime, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a good example of where freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences, and you're also not allowed to outright lie about something that major.
Yeah. And I put a link to the article in the chat because it's quite an interesting read anyway. So there's so much to talk about. Oh, there's one more before we move on to the next segment. I just want to talk about this as well. Hang on. There's another story that I just want to share with you guys. And it's this one from the Daily Mail. Union flag will be flown on government buildings every day of the year under plans to celebrate the UK's heritage and pride. This is another sign that we're marching into a fascist state here in the UK.
Oh man, it's like people running around with the damn Confederacy.
Yeah. The Union Jack will be flown on UK government buildings every day of the year under plans to celebrate the United Kingdom's heritage and pride. Ministers are set to issue new guidance this week to get the world-famous flag displayed all year round, not just on designated days.
Jesus.
Oh.
It's fine to be proud of your heritage, but heritage is like a dick. It's fine to be proud of it. You don't need to wave it in everybody's faces.
And I really hate all the flag shagging that's happening in my country at the moment.
Welcome to our world. I'll be your sponsor. Oh my God, the way people get so mad about the flag. Meanwhile, you'll be walking around in an American flag print T-shirt, and it's like, that's technically illegal.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to wear the flag. People would rather, wouldn't it make more sense to wrap yourself in the Constitution and burn the flag? Yet people wrap themselves in the flag and burn their moral codes.
Yeah. Will says, yikes, beware of people who fly flags all the time. Right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because they're lacking a sense of identity.
Yeah. And, just about every Tory MP now has at least 2 Union Jacks flying behind them, when they're doing their Zoom calls or whatever.
That could be worse. Here in the U.S., we have people, we call them wannabe rednecks, because a lot of times it's like suburban areas, but they think they're country, and they've always got flags flying on the beds of their trucks.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, fine, be proud of your pride and all, but the colonialism and of the British Empire back in the day, I mean, that's, my God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bloodshed in your history, just like in ours.
A lot of bloodshed, yeah. It's terrible. And which brings us on to the next story, real quick. I'll just share this one. Oh, what's happening?
E-commerce website.
Go
to Fiverr.
Oh, what's happening? What's happening?
Freelancer for your website.
Advertisements.
Start today. Fiverr. Freelance.
Oh, fuck you. God. Anyway, God, sorry. I hate it when they do that. I hate it when you get pop-up ads on
God,
articles.
I know. Isn't it the worst?
Right. But BBC breakfast presenters Charlie State and Naga Munchetti have been accused of sneering after laughing at Robert Jenrick's flag. Mr. State pointed out that Mr. Jenrick had a large Union Jack flag on display behind him in an interview with the Housing Secretary on Thursday. I think your flag is not up to standard size. Government interview measurements. I think it's just a little bit small. But that's your department, really, he said. Ms. Manchotti was filmed laughing into her hand and added, There's always a flag. They had the picture of the Queen. They had the picture of the Queen, though. And out of those two presenters, guess which one is being lambasted the most for this?
Hint, hint. It's the one with the female reproductive organs.
Exactly. Yeah, she even had to tweet this. She says, I liked tweets today that were offensive in nature about the use of the British flag as a backdrop in a government interview this morning. I have since removed these likes. This do not represent the views of me or the BBC. I apologize for any offense taken. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is, all this fuss about the Union flag, for God's sake. Stop it. Get some help. It's terrible.
You could say that again.
Yeah. But I'm going to introduce our next segment now, which I call Labour Woes.
Does everybody need to have red laser eyes? We gotta work on that.
Yeah, apparently. But there's just one story for this segment this week, but it's quite a whopper. Let's see if I can share it. Yes, here we go. Yes, Labour to back Whitehall taking over running of Liverpool City Council. So basically,
That man has got no neck. You ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, so the Rocky Horror, give me the damn Reese's cups and nobody gets hurt. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, one of the it's very famous for audience call responses when you see it live. And one of them was, where the fuck is this man's neck? Anytime a certain guy pops up on screen, that's the first thing that pops into my head when I saw that guy. Anyway, enough with my roasting.
The article says this: Sir Keir Starmer is preparing to back government moves to take over the running of Liverpool, one of his party's key strongholds, after a property development scandal. Robert Jenrick, the community's secretary, will announce today whether government commissioners will be sent in to run the city council after an investigation of its governance. He recently received a report from inspectors about whether the council has ensured best value for the taxpayer. It was commissioned after Joe Anderson, 63, Liverpool's mayor, was arrested in December on suspicion of conspiracy to commit bribery and witness intimidation. He and Derek Hatton, 73, deputy leader of the council in the 80s, were among 12 people detained. Anderson has denied wrongdoing and has not been charged. He stood down as mayor, and his successor will be elected in May. So
these motherfuckers ain't got no mayor. Anarchy!
Yeah, so basically the Conservative Party are saying, well, we'll send commissioners. We'll send our own commissioners round to take over the running of Liverpool. And Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, supposedly the leader of the opposition, has said, okay, that's fine.
Jeez, he's like the British Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is actually a Democrat, but he sure don't act like one. He votes with Republicans and everything.
Oh, all right, okay. And
he was the key force in a lot of the ridiculous changes to the American Rescue Plan Act.
Oh, right, okay, I see.
So it sounds like Sounds like a similar situation with Mr. Starmer there.
Yeah, and people on the left are not happy. They're saying that
Sounds like he's a
he should.
Tory in Labour Party clothing.
Yeah, exactly. They say that he should resign over this. I know.
I didn't touch on that. On him, there were calls for Starmer to resign or something or other. Maybe it was this, and he was just like, "Nah," something like that. I do remember us touching on calls for Starmer to resign, and him just being like, "Nah, I don't think I'm gonna." Like, really, dude? The public hates you. They want you to leave. Just fucking go.
Exactly. Because
Take the L and go home with your dignity intact.
Yeah, because because the Labour Party are doing so badly in the polls at the moment, and that's why people were calling on him to resign. And now people are saying, well, the Labour Party and the Tories may as well merge at this point.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
At least there seem to be differences between Democrats and Republicans.
And people, people didn't like Jeremy Corbyn, but at least when he was leader of the Labour Party, the Labour Party were an actual opposition party. They were. He dragged. He dragged them kicking and screaming to back to socialism. But Keith Starmer seems equally determined to drag the Labour Party back to the right. And
don't get me wrong. It's never a good idea to fall too far on either side of the political spectrum, but there's got to be differing ideas in any successful government.
Yeah.
It can't all be the same, because then it's just a dystopian horror story.
Yeah, exactly.
And without fresh ideas and different ideas, nothing is ever going to work, because not everyone's the same.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, I definitely see some parallels here. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, but I mean, actually, co-hosting the show and learning everything that I have about how it works over there and the differences in political parties, I don't ever want to hear anybody tell me that Democrats and Republicans are the same, because at least there are some differences between the two. Don't get me wrong. I understand they both accept corporate money, but at least Democrats seem to try to care about the welfare of the people and not the welfare of the corporation. I'm not seeing that on either side in the UK. Everybody's fascist. There's just fascist light and fascist extreme.
Yes, exactly. But we're going to move over to your side of the Atlantic, and we're going to talk about the story that we touched on earlier.
Oh, my little barb at Mr. Abbott.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be fun.
So I'll let you take the lead on this one.
So, because of course he is, because it's Texas, of course, because there's everywhere else in the United States, especially particularly in the South, where it's really like as red as a used tampon on a heavy day, to quote the Lavender Lady. And then there's Texas.
Yeah.
Texas, just a whole other extreme in and of itself. If they seceded, I wouldn't give a shit. Governor Abbott recently, a little less than a month ago, all COVID restrictions were lifted in the state of Texas. Okay? And naturally, imagine the surprise, there was a spike in COVID cases. Rather than accept personal responsibility, as Republicans love to crow about, Abbott is, in typical Republican, especially Texan fashion, blaming immigrants.
Of course he is.
Exactly what I said. So, basically, he tweeted something, and it's somewhere in the article. Oh, that a bunch of immigrants were let into the country that have COVID. It's like, how do you know they have COVID? Are you testing them? If you're testing them and they're testing positive, isn't the onus on you to quarantine their asses?
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
So what do we got here? Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Thursday criticized President Joe Biden for calling his decisions to lift COVID restrictions and mask mandates earlier this week Neanderthal thinking. Okay, so you're mad at the president because he's right. They are so backward in Texas, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Abbott claimed the Biden administration has been releasing immigrants in South Texas that have been exposing Texans to COVID. Really? This is just blatant racism at this point.
Yeah.
Abbott defended his decision to lift most of the state's COVID-19 restrictions and mask mandate, a move that has been widely criticized. Of course it has, because every time, take a look at the statistics for yourselves, dear viewers. Every time a state, Florida is a good example as well, every time mask mandates and other lockdown-related restrictions have been lifted too soon, instead of in phases, every time they got rid of all the restrictions, what do you know? Spike in COVID cases. Shit like that is why 500,000 people are dead. Not because of immigrants. Honestly, other countries are handling the pandemic a hell of a lot better than we are.
Yeah.
So, Abbott's comments come after his widely criticized decision on Tuesday to rescind most of the state's COVID-19 restrictions, including a statewide mask mandate. Texas businesses were allowed to. This is actually fairly old news. It's from a few weeks ago, but it's definitely still relevant because, of course. Yeah. Texas businesses will be allowed to open at 100% effective March 10th. And Mississippi, of course, hi American Man. Mississippi, of course, has done the same thing. They're just as backwards in terms of social policy. The only difference between Mississippi and Texas is that Mississippi doesn't have its own power grid. That's why I'm saying Texas can go. We don't need their asses.
Yeah. And what else needs to be said about?
Just drop my phone. I didn't just drop my phone. Anyway. Biden on Wednesday slammed the governors for what he said was a big mistake and added that the last thing we needed is Neanderthal thinking.
Right.
More eloquent than what Trump would have said. Abbott told CNBC's Squawk Box that the comment was
Gesundheit.
Oh my God, why does this have to happen now? I'm sorry, I'm extremely prone to sneezing fits for no apparent reason. That the comment was not the type of word that a president should be using, and blamed the spread of the coronavirus on immigrants crossing the southern border. Bitch, where? The Republican governor said the Biden administration has refused to test them for the virus. That just sounds like an outright lie, but that's par for the course.
Yeah. More and more, I just think conservatives on both sides of the pond are just as bad as each other.
Oh, there's definitely some serious similarities there.
Yeah.
All right. The Biden administration has been releasing immigrants in South Texas that have been exposing Texans to COVID. Some of those people have been put on buses taking the COVID to other states in the United States. Abbott told CNBC.
Oh dear.
That is Neanderthal type approach to dealing with the COVID situation. No, it's not, you idiot. You fucking dense motherfucker. God, I hate that. The governor of Texas said that because of course he did. It's fucking Texas, Josh. What do you expect?
You said that you can't take ashes on a plane.
No, stupid.
What did you just?
You know what? Shut up. Go to bed or something. You're
You really are so.
and here's the tweet.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Biden administration is recklessly releasing hundreds of illegal immigrants who have COVID into Texas communities. The Biden administration must immediately end this callous act that exposes Texans and Americans to COVID. Where is his basis for any of this? Back it up with some evidence, you know?
Yeah.
That's one thing I've never liked about Republicans. They just go in with their mouths and they just make these grand sweeping statements. They don't back them up, or half the time it ends up debunked as a lie.
Yeah.
And people fucking believe it. In the first place, nobody knows what Neanderthals thought.
Exactly.
Well, the Republican governor didn't provide specifics because, of course, he didn't. He pulled it out of his ass.
Yes.
Telemundo reported on Tuesday that, oh my God, I hate this. That some migrants released by Biden, by Border Patrol in the Texan city of Brownsville subsequently tested positive for COVID-19. You know, here's the thing. In fact, I'm not sure why I didn't touch on this today. I'm not sure why I didn't put this in the Google Doc. I believe recently the Biden administration opened its doors to people seeing inside. There was people are now being allowed in to inspect one of the migrant detention centers, and I believe it was in Texas. You know, there's no social distancing in these cages. There's no masks in these cages. Of course COVID's going to run rampant.
Yeah.
It's like a modern day Hitler gas chamber. If you think about it, they're turning into modern day concentration camps, except instead of Zyklon B, they're using COVID-19.
Yeah.
I mean, really. Oh. God, I hate this.
Yeah.
Since the city began testing on January 25th, 108 migrants have tested positive for COVID-19, which is 6.3% of all those who took a test, according to the report. So, I think it's really rich that Abbott said this. The Biden administration must stop importing COVID into our country. You know, really? Really? Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Fucking really? This is why I can't stand Texas and why I will never live there.
No, I'll never live there either.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if you're better off staying wherever the hell you are. If you're going to emigrate to a different country to get the hell away from your insanity, I don't recommend coming here.
Out of the frying pan into the fire. It sounds like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, the sheer amount of ignorance and complete reckless disregard for human rights because my freedom. It's just. How about, you know, this? I always say this, and people hate that I say it, but it's true. Your right to breathe COVID ends at my airway, motherfucker.
Yeah, and We've just got 2 more stories, and then we'll call it a night.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. First of all, still on your side of the Atlantic. This. Well, you'll see for yourself.
All right, what do we got?
Pro-Trump lawyer.
Oh God, Sidney Powell. Why is she still a thing? Throw the bitch in jail already. Actually, no, she was being sued by Dominion. And the ridiculous.
And
no reasonable person would believe her election lies. Well, no reasonable person did. There's no such thing as a reasonable Trump supporter. That's not a thing. That's the thing. No reasonable person would believe your election lies. Okay, fine. Have you forgotten that we are in the platinum age of stupidity? Have you forgotten how idiots run rampant in this country because we simply will not implement elements of Darwinism that need to be put in there? I think if we would just criminalize warning labels on anything that's not a baby toy, the stupid would self-exterminate and we'd have fewer problems.
But now,
why is Sidney Powell argued conspiracies she laid out constituted legally protected First Amendment speech? If only it were illegal to put my foot up her ass.
But now she's been sued. She's saying, "Oh, well, I wasn't. I was only joking."
No, she fucking wasn't.
No one should take me seriously.
No, that's when you ask the question. My mother used to have this question regarding anything that came out of my father's mouth because the stories often conflicted, as you see a lot with Republicans these days. Were you lying then, or are you lying now?
Yeah.
Usually both.
But we've got, it's all on tape, bitch.
Exactly. That's what I love. When they lie in the face of hard evidence. I have known people that they would get caught in a lie or they'd get caught doing something that they're not supposed to do. There'd be hard evidence. It's like a drug addict who says they're not high and there's a needle in their pocket.
Yes. Yeah. And but now she said,
or like they just went to the bathroom and they say, "Oh no, I wasn't doing anything," and then you find the baggies in the toilet. Like, I mean, there's other, or a 5-year-old. I'm not eating any cookies. Why is your hand in the cookie jar then?
Yeah, but I mean, she was claiming that these stories were true at the time.
Oh, absolutely, it's very well documented.
But these stories were the basis of their legal case. That they were trying to take to court.
Lawsuit after lawsuit. If you were joking, why the fuck did you make the same claims in your meritless lawsuit filing to try to overturn the election?
But now she's being sued.
That's what joking does. Yes, she's suing her, I believe, for defamation over the claims that the voting machines were rigged, and that's I'm just gonna fill you in on one aspect of American law that you may not know about. While defamation is a very well-known tort in terms of its existence, the defamation cases are notoriously hard to prove, very hard to win. So a lot of times people won't even bother filing them.
Yeah.
When don't I sound miffed, Harmonica Man? For God's sake, look where I work. Something's always wrong. Life is wrong anyway. But Dominion, for them to be filing defamation of all the possible actions they could take against Sidney Powell, most people won't bother filing defamation unless they have ironclad proof. Not so much of what the person's saying. The key to winning a defamation suit is usually in the consequences of the defamatory statements or statements.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. They're not fucking around. If they're filing a lawsuit against Powell for defamation of all things, they must be 100% positive they can win. The fact that
Yeah.
a lawsuit for defamation is filed, that's almost always because it's going to be a slam dunk victory if it goes before a judge.
Yeah.
Because defamation, you have to prove significant damages, and it's usually financial in nature. Because, Americans don't fuck about anything other than money.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't approve of that, but, money makes the American flag fly every damn day.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? But am I wrong?
But now she's been sued.
Yes.
She's saying, well, no reasonable person could have mistaken her wild claims about election fraud last November as statements of fact.
Well, no reasonable. That's where it goes back to my original point. No reasonable person did. The problem is the number of those unreasonable people who believe that number in the hundreds of thousands, if not the millions.
Yeah. And now that the legal rubber has hit the road, so to speak, and she could, she's
hit the fan around here.
Yeah. She's defending herself against $1 billion defamation lawsuit. And so now she's basically saying that all those claims were made up.
Yeah. To which the response is, no shit, they were made up. But you put them out there, and they had this, and this financial effect on me. That's the thing. If Dominion is filing defamation against Sidney Powell, there's a good chance they have suffered significant losses as a direct result of her statement. That is the key to winning a defamation suit. Provable damages as a direct result of the statement. They've got to have an ironclad case here. There's no doubt in my mind. You don't file defamation unless you're positive you can win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that hard to prove.
So yeah,
I've got people slandering me and defaming me left and right, and that's been the case my whole life. I was terribly bullied in school. I've got Unirock making outlandish claims about me. I've got my ex-husband's girlfriend running all over social media telling people things like that I threw scalding water on him and hit him in the head with a frying pan. Things that are just so outlandishly false. But you don't see me running and filing defamation suits because I'm not 100% sure I can win. That is just an unwritten rule in American civil court. You don't file defamation unless you're 100%, man.
Yeah.
It's that hard to prove.
And so this is an ongoing story. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, especially because when she was making these outlandish claims, it's true, we can prove it, it's definitely fact. It was being presented as a statement of fact.
Yeah.
But now that she's being sued, she's turning tail, and her legal team is saying something else entirely.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she's even competent to help assist in her own defense. My God, the craziness in this woman. Hey, look at her eyes. If you pull up a picture of her, look at her eyes. The crazy is just shining through.
Yeah.
But then again, that is an obvious prerequisite to serve as an attorney to Donald Trump.
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
I could, and I did.
Anyway.
Because I ain't wrong.
And anyway, and finally story.
Yes, and finally the fluff.
Yeah.
I think it's a catchy name for the segment. I think we should consider it.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. So, what have we got today?
Waitrose ban on kids' magazines with disposable plastic toys inspired by a campaigning 10-year-old. Sky from Gwynedd is on a crusade to persuade publishers to stop giving away the items, and Waitrose has backed her campaign. Yeah, these are the items that they're talking about.
Oh, my daughter would love that little plastic phone. Actually, no, she wouldn't. She prefers toy smartphones. If I gave her a toy, she'd look at me like, "What the hell is this, Mom?"
Yeah. We've got this is a story about a budding Greta Thunberg here.
We do
Yeah,
need
she's-
a lot more of those in this world. If we have more Gretas and less Greg Abbotts, our
Yes.
environment will finally get back on the right track.
Yeah, 10-year-old Sky from Gwynedd in Wales is on a crusade to persuade publishers to stop giving away the items. And the retailer has backed her campaign, agreeing that many of the freebies have a very short lifespan and cannot easily be recycled. Over the next,
that is a great step in the right direction.
yeah. Do you have Waitrose in the States?
I've never heard of it in my life.
Well, they're supermarkets, but they're quite a posh supermarket.
Oh, so it's your version of Whole Foods? It's a bougie supermarket.
Yeah, it's where the wealthy go to get their groceries, basically.
So it's the UK version of Whole Foods.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because Whole Foods is only rich people go there.
Yeah.
The prices, my God. I've been to a Whole Foods once in my life, never again.
So over the next 8 weeks, it will be removing magazines containing the free toys from its shelves, and it's urging publishers to replace pointless plastic with sustainable alternatives. The ban will not include educational or reusable craft items which are designed to be used many times, such as coloring pens and pencils and collectible models.
So basically, this whole ban is just to get rid of the single-use bullshit.
Yeah.
No, that's the kind of uplifting news I needed in my life.
Yeah. It is uplifting, isn't it? It gives you hope for the next generation.
Yeah, especially as young as 10 years old and seeing a very real problem like that and taking the initiative to campaign for a change like that. That's the kind of go-getting we need here in our youth.
Yeah.
Instead of staring at fucking iPads. That's one thing. Parent your children, people. Don't let the iPad babysit them.
Yes. Yeah.
Seriously. Josh and I used to babysit this little girl who got she was a little doll. And then her parents got her a tablet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I would love to see that kind of initiative continue and hopefully not be shouted down by the old folks.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's a good child. I aspire to raise a child like that.
Yeah. Harmonica Man is saying, I like going to farm markets and gathering wild foods.
Oh, farm markets are awesome, aren't they? Have you ever been to a farmer's market, Mike?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Aren't they great?
Yeah.
I actually used to live near one when I lived just outside of Trenton. I lived right by the Trenton Farmers Market, which was right next to a local dairy. So it was nice actually getting to buy local, fresh food.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's a nice story to finish on.
Absolutely, and I think we should definitely continue on that trend of finishing on a more uplifting note. Like, hey, the world sucks, but not entirely.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And on that bombshell, we'll say goodbye for now, and see you next time.
Yep, we'll just that bombshell in the Boris burrow. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, thanks as always to my co-host Cy Niece, and thanks to everyone in the chat as well for turning up. And if you've liked this video, then do subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video. Okay.
And if you enjoy my snark outside of here, if you like my snark here, follow me on Twitter. Then you get it 24/7.
Exactly.
Because I never shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Get your fun gripes about my job.
Okay, bye for now, and we'll see you next time.